Land acquisition in India is estimated to contribute to delays of up to 30 to 40% in manufacturing project timelines and cost overruns of over 20 to 25%. If you think it's a simple transaction, think again. In this video, we look at the hidden challenges of land acquisition for foreign manufacturers in India, zoning nightmares, local approval labyrinths, and community relation minefields, and arm you with smart, no-nonsense strategies to navigate this critical hurdle. Successful land acquisition for manufacturing in India requires a deep understanding of the often opaque realities beyond basic property listings, demanding proactive strategies to mitigate significant risks and delays. Zoning regulations in India are complex, often outdated, and vary significantly by state and even within districts, posing a major hurdle if not meticulously researched. Don't assume industrial area means your specific manufacturing is allowed. There can be master plan misalignment. State and city master plans dictate land use. What looks like industrial land might be reserved for specific categories, for example, non-polluting industries only. Changes to these plans can take years with no guarantee of approval. Up to 60% of initial land selection by manufacturers face zoning issues. Agricultural land conversion. Converting agricultural land for industrial use involves a lengthy and often politically sensitive process under state-specific land revenue codes. Approvals can take 1 to 3 years, with rejection rates as high as 40% in some states due to farmer resistance or environmental concerns. There's environmental regulations. Manufacturing units, especially those with potential pollution, face stringent environmental regulations and require clearances at various levels, state and central. Obtaining these can add another 16 to 18 months to the timeline, and non-compliance can lead to project halts and penalties averaging almost 10 to 15% of the project cost. Coastal regulation zones and forest land. If your proposed site falls under CRZ or involves forest land, even a small patch, approvals become exponentially more complex, often requiring clearances from multiple central government agencies and potentially taking 3 to 5 years or more, with high chances of rejection. Invest heavily in thorough zoning due diligence before any financial commitment. Engage local experts who understand the intricacies of state-specific land use, regulations, and environmental laws. Securing the necessary local approvals for land acquisition and factory setup involves navigating a multi-layered bureaucratic system with often unclear timelines and potential for delays. Forget single-window clearance promises and brace for reality. Multiple authorities, you likely need approvals from numerous local bodies, town planning departments, revenue departments, pollution control boards at the local level, fire safety departments, electricity boards, water supply authorities, and more. Each can have its own procedures and timelines. Expect to interact with at least 5 to 7 different local agencies. Unpredictable timelines. While official timelines might exist, the actual approval process is often subject to delays due to bureaucratic inertia, staff shortages, and unforeseen issues. Expect individual approvals to take anywhere from 3 months to over a year. Then there's documentation overload. Each local authority will have its own specific documentation requirements, with often little standardization. Prepare for a significant administrative burden and potential for repeated submissions. Companies often report spending 10 to 15% of their initial setup time solely on documentation. Informal processes. Be prepared for the reality that informal channels and relationships can sometimes influence the speed and smoothness of approvals. While unethical practice should be avoided at all costs, understanding local customs and building rapport can be beneficial. Engage experienced local consultants who have a proven track record of navigating local bureaucracy. Factor in significant time buffers for approvals and maintain meticulous documentation. Now, ignoring or mishandling community relations during land acquisition can lead to significant project delays, legal challenges, and reputational damage. In India, land isn't just a commodity, it's tied to people and their livelihoods. Now, acquiring land that displaces communities triggers complex R&R obligations under the Land Acquisition Act and state-specific policies. These include fair compensation, alternative housing, and livelihood support. Inadequate R&R can lead to prolonged protests and legal challenges, delaying projects by years and increasing costs by 20 to 30%. Then there's farmer resistance. Even if land is legally classified as industrial, local farmers may resist acquisition due to emotional ties, loss of livelihood, or inadequate compensation offers. Protests and legal battles can halt projects indefinitely. Over 20% of industrial land acquisitions face significant farmer resistance. Local political leaders and influential individuals can significantly impact the land acquisition process. Understanding local power structures and building relationships with key stakeholders is crucial. Ignoring them can lead to unexpected roadblocks. Projects with potential environmental impact can attract scrutiny from local and national environmental groups, leading to legal challenges and delays. Environmental clearances often face opposition, with success rates varying significantly by project type and location. The key takeaway here is to prioritize proactive and genuine community engagement from the outset. Conduct thorough social impact assessments and be prepared for fair compensation and R&R measures. Build relationships with local leaders and address concerns transparently. Let's look at a few examples that illustrate how critical land regulations are for projects. A US-based electronics manufacturer spent over 2 years trying to acquire land in a seemingly industrial zone, only to discover it was designated for non-polluting industries under a vaguely defined master plan. Their lack of thorough upfront zoning due diligence resulted in a wasted $10 million in initial planning and legal fees. This scenario is common for many foreign manufacturers, particularly in sectors with specific zoning restrictions like pharmaceuticals, chemicals, or certain types of electronics. Next, a Japanese automotive component manufacturer invested heavily in community engagement from the outset, offering fair compensation packages exceeding legal requirements and establishing local skill development programs. This proactive approach fostered goodwill, minimized resistance, and ensured smooth land acquisition within 18 months. Companies in sectors like automotive, consumer goods, or food processing that require large land parcels have often prioritized community engagement with varying degrees of success. Then, a European chemical company faced violent protests and a 5-year delay in their project due to inadequate resettlement and rehabilitation plans for displaced communities. The resulting cost overruns amounted to over $50 million, severely impacting the project's viability. This highlights the case of many large-scale industrial projects, including those in power generation, mining, and heavy manufacturing, like steel or cement, who have faced significant delays and cost overruns due to inadequate resettlement and rehabilitation of affected communities. Finally, a South Korean textile firm partnered with a well-connected local consultant who expertly navigated the complex web of local approvals, securing all necessary clearances within 15 months, significantly ahead of their initial projections. Their understanding of informal processes without resorting to unethical practices proved invaluable. This is a common experience where foreign companies across various sectors, automotive, electronics, textiles, have all benefited from the expertise of well-connected local consultants. Successful land acquisition for foreign manufacturers in India demands a realistic understanding of the hidden challenges related to zoning, local approvals, and community relations, coupled with proactive and strategic navigation. And as in most cases related to setting up your business, taking help from the right people will greatly aid you in your project planning, budgeting, as well as execution.